Hey everyone, welcome to Otaku Talk. It's me, your boy, your host, OD, and today we'll be reviewing and analyzing chapter 1031 of One Piece. Man, this was a super exciting chapter. There's like two really major kind of reveals this chapter that I'm going to get into, but I'm super excited to talk about them. And I think this was a very refreshing chapter, especially after the controversy and the contention behind the last chapter. A lot of people were really not feeling not only the whole Kinemon thing, but like all the deaths we thought had happened from minus Orochi, from Kiku to Kanjuro not actually going on. A lot of people saying it's poor writing on Oa's part, blah 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 blah. We're not gonna get into that today. We're gonna talk about this chapter, but personally, I didn't really have that big a problem. Odin didn't really take out these people in a way that seemed permanent, except for maybe, I don't know, Kyo and Kanjuro kind of seemed like they were done, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, if this is your first time on this channel or you haven't been here before, do me a solid. I would greatly appreciate it if you could like, share, and subscribe. Mainly just like this video and subscribe for other notifications and content. Bang that bell. Anyway, without much further ado, let's get into the review. Chapter 1031, Soldier of Science. And like I said, really dope chapter. You got two really major, really big reveals. There are some other reveals in this, but there are two things that I think are most important to us, the fans, at least. So before we get into that, we have the cover art for this week, and honestly, this is a really cool cover art. You see a bunch of familiar faces, and then you realize something rather quickly, and that they're all the right-hand men, second in command of various pirate crews. You know, we got Roger, we got Shanks, we got Luffy, we got the Heart Pirates, got the Kid Pirates, we got the Blackbeard Pirates. Who else do we have here? Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido, and we have Dragon. So that was really cool. Honestly, I feel kind of bad though, because one of these things is not like the other, and for me, that's Beppo. Do not get me wrong. Beppo seems super awesome, seems super cool. And I'm actually really sad because I don't recall, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall we've ever seen him in Sulong. And like, this would have been a great opportunity to showcase that, which honestly, this whole cover art just made me remember, wait a minute, where is Beppo? What is Beppo doing? What has he been up to? And unlike the rest of them that are in panels, he's actually like outside of a panel existing with Zoro. So I found that to be really interesting. But like I said, I saw this and I was like, one of these things is not like the other. And when it comes to Beppo, he just does not really seem to be on the level as the rest of the second in commands. And that might just be because, Law's crew does not seem that strong overall. I mean, at the end of the day, he's mainly a doctor, and his goal isn't something as grandiose as becoming Pirate King. He just wants to learn the truth of the world. Which while that is still a goal, I think your willpower, your strength, your hockey, is kind of equivalent to your goals and what you're seeking out to do. And because that's not as massive an ideology, a goal, a journey as King of the Pirates, it kind of reflects in Law's personal strength and his goal. Even though, in my opinion, he kicked ass with Big Mom. He kicked ass on the rooftop. We know that he's not very durable, but his power is insane. So I still put Law above Kid personally. But yeah, that was interesting. Also, the fact that Shiryu is Blackbeard's like right hand man was kind of messed up because Shiryu's like the last person, one of the last few people to join. You think it would be like Jesus Burgess or whatever. He's been with him, that dude, from like day one since we met him. So I wonder if that started any beef in the crew. I think it's a little messed up personally. But anyway, let's get into the review. So we start this chapter with Big Mom buried under a pile of rubble and rebar. We have, various people there being like, oh my God, she has to be dead. I can't wait to see this animated because I'm sure the effect, like with the noise and like the amount of rubble stuff, is far grander. We just have to take our imagination that like it wasn't just like in my head when I first read, I just kept thinking as like just her getting like lightly bombarded with these metal poles, but metal poles, metal beams. But I can imagine it was more just great destructive force just slamming into her. But um, you know, she's buried underneath it. So during that time, Law inquires to Kid about his devil fruit. So he's like, "Oh, cool! You're able to assign magnetism to your target. How long does it last?" And I was like, "All right, cool. We're gonna get some exposition." To which Kid immediately shuts that shit down. And I actually thought it was hilarious. I actually liked how it was done because it makes sense. These guys are rivals. This guy wants to become, a pirate, like the Pirate King himself one day. He can't just be willy nilly giving out his weaknesses, the exact specifics of his power, especially in this fruit where, like, having tricks up your sleeve and abilities your opponent doesn't know about can really be your saving grace. So I really like that scene, even though I was curious about the duration as well, and I was more curious about the powers. But I love the fact that Big Mom essentially answers our question because she immediately rises out of the rubble, angry as hell. And for me as a reader, I was like, oh, so that's about how it lasts, like just for like less than a minute. I mean, maybe it's a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, but yeah, it clearly was not a long time. So I love how he refuses to tell Law, but then we pretty much get to figure it out, not even a panel later. So Big Mom is pissed, really pissed. She emerges out of the rubble and she immediately is like, "Life for Oshiruku." Did I say that right? Anyway, Oshiruku is red bean soup. And obviously they don't have any. And so she immediately soul focuses all of Kaido's men and puts their souls into the metal beams and makes metal beam homies. And that was super cool. I love how it's a throwback to her homies. We haven't seen a lot of them except for her elite ones that are made from her own soul. And so I was really, really hyped for that. She just basically created allies for herself. And then on top of that, she does something even crazier. And she honestly compliments, Law and Kid on being able to like hurt her this much or push her this far. And she takes a year of her own lifespan. And this part is what confuses me because I'm not quite sure exactly the specifics of what she did. But if I had to describe it, I would only see it as she took out her own life force, converted it into like a soul or soul power, and then re-injected it into herself. So giving her kind of another power boost. I don't know why, but this reminds me a lot of Tao Yuan, Tao Ren's dad from Shaman King. And if I had to guess, I would say that this is her awakening. Now I don't know if that's true, and she has a multitude of abilities, so maybe I'm just being ignorantly wrong here. But I wouldn't be surprised if what she just did right now, the fact that she's way larger, her eyes are glowing, she's a little crazy, the fact that she used her own soul powers on herself would be an application of her own awakening. So Big Mom is large, she's in charge, and she is trying to murk Law and Kid, to which I really enjoy the fact that they're not shook. Not gonna lie, Law's a little bit shook, but he's like, I'm gonna have to like, it's just the fact that this was gonna happen sooner or later, so might as well get used to it now. I was gonna have to fight people of your caliber in order to get the true history. And then Kid is on some Luffy type shit where he's basically like, fuck it, I'm about it, gang, gang, gang. Like I'm trying to become the pirate king, so I'm gonna take you out here. So that was actually tough. Kid's growing on me. I have made it very clear it's not one of my favorite characters. Kind of think he's a bomb. Gonna be real with you. I kind of also think the fact that his awakening is he can make people magnetic, like, cool, bro. Like, it's a useful ability because it can be annoying as hell. Because like I never for one thought this was gonna really stop Big Mom. I thought if anything, Oda was gonna make it a gag. Like what's the name of that? That old ass video game where like some alien comes to Earth and everything sticks to him, and you just roll and roll and roll, and as you're rolling, like things just stick to you, and by the like your goal is just to make a giant ball of shit, just like a huge ball of stuff. like a huge ball of stuff that you just keep rolling around the world. Like at first it's like twigs and rocks and stuff, but eventually it becomes cars and eventually becomes trees and eventually becomes like buildings, and you're just like collecting a massive pile of stuff. I thought like Oda was gonna go that route with it, but Kids Awakening doesn't last long enough for that. I was also hoping that their awakenings weren't going to be a kind of one and done thing. I know that like they said that once they use it, they're kind of forfeiting the fight. But what I thought was, maybe like when he first used Gear 4, like Gear Second, and stuff like that, where maybe for like 5 minutes, let's just say 5 minutes or something, 5 minutes they get this power up, and then once that time completes, they rebound hard and they can't do anything. So if it's truly one and done, that kind of sucks. That kind of blows. But obviously, this is the first time they use their awakening. They have a high ceiling to climb. Then we get back to Apu and Drake. And Drake has elected not to join Apu. So that was actually really, really surprising. I thought like logically he would decide, you know what, this is a smart plan, but no. And that actually raises his like stock in my like head canon of like characters I respect. I still don't F with him, he's the boys, he's the Fed, he's the Popo, but like I respect the fact that like he wasn't shook. Like I personally would have been like, damn, another supernova and numbers, and I know nothing about these numbers. So I respect that. I also even respect the fact that it seems that he's purely doing it out of a sense of obligation and respect and reciprocity to Luffy. He says, I will pay back Straw Hat. So I was like, all right, dude, you're good. You're cool with me. You're good with me. Even though Apu is a character I've liked more so than Drake. So that was kind of hard. Also, something weird I noticed is the whole time that Drake is fighting Apu, the numbers don't really seem to give a fuck. They're just kind of chilling, kind of cooling, not involving themselves in the fight. And I'm wondering if that's intentional, if Apu's just like, sad of it, let me just keep trying to convince him. Or maybe Apu doesn't have as much control over these numbers as we once thought or anticipated. So that was interesting. So while they're in the midst of this fight, Yamato busts through because, as we see in a panel before this, she's in a hurry to utilize the Wado room as a shortcut to get to the basement. So while she's doing this, Apu has some sort of news or something he wants to really tell her. And she's basically like, look, man, I know you're an informant for my dad, but I'm no longer with the Kaido Pirates. I don't rock with them anymore. So, like, yeah, we don't really have anything to talk about. And he's like, oh, you're not with your dad? Then I even have something even like even bigger to tell you, something even more important to tell you. But she is just in a hurry and she immediately clashes with Drake. And Drake's like, hey, yo, chill. I defect on because, last time, as far as she's concerned, Drake is a member of the Topi Rapo as well. But Drake's like, hey, yo, chill. I defected from the Beast Pirates. Also, I'm not with your dad. I'm not fucking with him either. And she's like, all right, bet. And she's like, kind of like, go like just I just love like I can't wait to see the scene animated once again. I've been saying that a lot, but like there's so many cool parts of this arc that I can't wait to actually see. And so she's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna keep it moving then. And as she's like going, we see what's his name? I'm just gonna call him Fuga. I don't know his whole name. Fuga kind of make a like a face, like he gets his own dedicated panel. And then eventually, honestly, I'll be real with you, I don't really know what's going on in this panel, but it looks like Fuga's like climbing off of whatever he's on or knocks something over and resulting in like a lot of like basically a mini earthquake in the vicinity of where they are. And he chases after Yamato. And I was like, from the panel earlier in that panel, I was really interested in what was happening. And the whole time, Apu is like, hey, Fugo, like, what are you doing? Get back over here. I need to convince her because all Apu is worried about right now is just, coming up with deals, trying to survive this ordeal and figuring out how to get off this island and get back to where, he's trying to get to, which, by the way, a lot of people have been theorizing. I don't know if that's a word or not, but I'm going to use it. Theorizing that, he's actually the 10th Titanic Hydra. I think Tekken just did a video on that. That would make a lot of sense. He's just out here doing whatever he can do to survive and take advantage of these alliances. We've seen that he's willing to make an alliance anytime he wants. He's willing to betray people anytime he wants, as long as it advances himself. So I wouldn't be surprised if that theory was true. So yeah, all this part told me, this is one of the major reveals I was talking about, is this number potentially recognizes Yamato. And a big theory going on for a while that I didn't touch on last time because I didn't notice till after my review, but two of the numbers, in my opinion, looked a lot like the samurai that she spent time with in the one prison. Also, something about the Iwata room is we believe it to be just the original prison room, kind of reconverted, because now we have the Udon prison, is it, was it called? I forget what prison Luffy was in, but now we have that actual prison, so we don't need that dungeon anymore. So maybe they just kind of change the room up. So I'm like, yo, is this like the culmination of what everyone thought? Is Fuga like one of the samurai? And it's actually kind of funny because I thought Ibi and Zanki were actually going to be the ones, and then Fuga was going to be someone else because Fuga looks so different than anyone else. Like Ibi looks like the one samurai that had the basic mustache, and then the one that really looks like a samurai that I was like, okay, this guy, like, there's some stock in this theory, was Zanki, because he honestly looks almost verbatim like one of the samurai that we saw wearing that the headgear and all that stuff. But Ugo was one that I was like, he looks like no one, and like the only other person it could be is Ushimaru, and I just don't like that because, one, damn, for like Zoro's like father or grandfather, whoever he might be, to have been like a number for this long and been like, oh, that's kind of really sad. And obviously, it doesn't seem like the numbers can really talk, except for I think Hachan, right? Hachan was the only one that could really talk. So it seems like they're going to have to like kind of team up or utilize Apu to communicate the messages to each other. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Oda has in store with that plot thread, what's gonna happen there, their reunion, and how Yamato's gonna react to that. And Apu with Ibi and Zanki try to follow after her, to which Drake stops them. So I wonder if Drake is just stopping Apu and the other numbers are gonna go, which, by the way, the other numbers don't seem quite interested. So maybe they don't remember, maybe they weren't able to hold on to their intellect. I don't know. Also, the fact that, if Fuga is Ushimaru, why is he number two instead of number one? So a lot of questions going on, and I'm wondering if how Fuga is going to relay the fact that they know each other. Maybe there's something that they did, that he showed her or did when they were when she was younger, that she'll remember. Maybe he'll help her disable the bombs or fight the Kanembo, that spirit monster that Kanjuro drew. So there's a lot to look forward to. Anyway, next we get a nice little panel with Robin and Brooke, and it looks like the CP0 agents have caught up to them, to which Robin, I'm messing up right now, tells Brooke to run. And it's kind of jarring, the fact that like Robin doesn't even try to fight them. She's like, no, let's go. She's like, out of the CP0 members, the ones with the masks are exceptionally skilled, exceptionally talented, which is a final confirmation of the question I want to know. Are they just basic dudes, or do they have some fighting power behind them? And the answer to that is they have some firepower behind them, which I kind of always assumed, just because of how cool and suave they've been. They've been in the lion den the entire time. In the face of Kaido, they kept their cool, and like, the whole castle is like rumbling and burning around them, and they've been chilling in the reception room. And everyone's been making a joke about how the reception room is indestructible, but what if it's just a matter of, do you remember when the admirals did that thing where they blocked, was it Whitebeard's attack, someone's attack, with what we now know to be Haki? What if they were just emitting a protective Haki barrier this entire time, and that's why the reception room was good? That's just a little throw it out there theory. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's my head headcanon for why the hell the reception room was so fine this entire time. The other theory is simply that it's located closer to the basement, and so it's not quite part of the building, and it's in the ground and all that like physics stuff. But yeah, so they're running away from them. I can't wait to see a fight from them. Also, another reason I think that they're running is probably because Robin is able to handle fodder right now, but she really tired herself from that Black Maria fight. So maybe she's not able to handle someone of the CP0 caliber now. It would be really cool if we got like a 2v1 with Brooke. I'm still waiting for his moment to shine. All he got to do was fight fodder. So it would be nice for him to fight like actual tangible, like scary opponents. All right, and so finally we have the last bit of the chapter, which honestly is the second, probably the first big moment of this chapter. And Sanji was running away from Queen, but not out in fear like people were thinking. He's just having like these big issues, trying to get his he's having essentially a mental breakdown right now, trying to figure like his whole way of life is crumbling around him. He thinks he's becoming a Germa, and he's just trying to avoid it, right? And so he apparently spaced out or blacked out, and when he came to, there was there was a woman badly injured on the ground before him, and a bunch of women from the red light district holding weapons out at him, and their faces had such fear in them. And so basically what's insinuated is some way somehow during that blackout he attacked this woman. And I'm just going to say this right now, he did not do that shit. He did not do that shit. I don't go like I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't even care if Oda comes out and says he did that shit. I would care. But I truly, hopefully believe Sanji would never, ever do something like that. I think it's either another setup. We do know the Red Light District girls to be a little bit tricky. Black Maria should be out for the count, honestly, but we do know she used to do a lot with, what's the word I'm looking for? Illusions and stuff like that. But if she is out for the count, I wouldn't put it past someone else to be able to do something like that. Maybe it's a misunderstanding and something else knocked her out, but he just appeared over her, and all the girls kind of just reacted to Sanji being there. But anyway, this whole ordeal makes Sanji suffer like a huge identity crisis. He's freaking out. He's like think about the ramifications of everything that's happened, and how he may actually be losing himself. Even in this even around this series of panels, he even says to himself that his body no longer feels strange. So that might be confirmation that whatever transformation that was undertaking in his body is now complete. um and so yeah, he's really freaking out. And the fact that someone who has such moral convictions about hitting a woman may have potentially lost himself and hit a woman is actually getting to him, and I can totally understand that. And also another thing that's getting to his head is the fact that as a Germa soldier, technically he would be way more useful to Luffy. Like he really would, like someone that could handle enemies and take out. Because one of his biggest flaws has been that woman thing, and it's kind of annoying the fact that there's going to be situations in their journey where there's going to be a powerful female opponent, and he's not going to be able to fight them, and you're going to have one of the other either powerful males fight them. We do have the likes of Robin that's pretty strong. Nami with this Zeus boost is pretty strong. But yeah, you can't front. I respect it, but you can't front and say that Sanji's reluctance, restriction on fighting women hasn't been annoying at times, isn't a detriment to the crew. And so he's thinking, maybe this would be better for Luffy, which honestly, once again, he's stupid. The fact that people don't know their captain by now, and don't know that like Luffy wants his friends, like flaws and all. Like that's what it means to be found family. That's what it means to be Nakama. Like he accepts you for you, and you guys are more than just his crewmates. You guys are his friends. You are his allies. You're his Nakama, and he likes that about you. He likes whatever you want. He's always asking, is this what you want to do? He's all about freedom. And so if you don't want to hit women, you don't have to fucking hit women. That's just how it is. So Sanji's chipping again, but I'm hoping this will be rectified soon. So anyway, um he does something that I never ever thought he would do, never saw coming. I just thought ever since his introduction, it was definitely going to be used. and he destroys the raid suit, which is a fantastic turn of events. I know Sanji fans might like that because the raid suit was kind of like an unwarranted buff. But even though he still technically did get a buff in the fact that his body is now machine-like, so technically he won't be as powerful because we do know that the raid suit does heighten your strength. We saw that with his siblings during the Tea Party where they could barely fight Big Mom's kids, and then they put it on, and then they were able to pretty easily take them out. So I think that's crazy. Do you guys think, I want to know, do you guys actually think it's like done? It's actually broken? Do you think it can be repaired? I also feel like it's a little bit, it's a little, too little, too late. He's already transformed. It's said and done. What's the point of destroying it? Maybe it's just, a symbolism kind of thing. So that was wild to me. Also, I never shout out to the One Piece community. You guys are great. Also, shout out for Oda for being so good at doing stuff like this. But I didn't even notice this. Sanji's eyebrows are reversed. So I remember when we first met his siblings, everyone kept mentioning the fact that their eyebrows swirl in a different direction than his. Now he has the 66 swirl. And I'm just like, oh shit. Well, that just clarifies it right there that he is permanently changed. So that was crazy to me. And that's such a minor detail that I can't believe Oda put in. And I also can't believe like the fan base picked up, because if I didn't see that in the comments, I completely would have missed it. But yeah, Sanji's eyebrows are swirled. So awesome. So to finish up this review, Sanji, dealing with what he's dealing with, and he's about to confront Queen again, calls up Zoro. Zoro's fighting King, and he's like, what? There's a Denda Mushi on me. And Sanji's like, yeah, I slipped it in your waistband, just in case you were in danger. And all I have to say about this one is this a Sanji feat? For Sanji to be able to stealthily like put something in Zoro's waistband without him noticing. But then again, you do have to realize that Zoro was injured. Sanji wrapped him up in the bandages. Maybe he did it around that time when Zoro was asleep. But for the fact that like Zoro didn't notice, I still think to be really cool. Or maybe Zoro noticed but didn't say anything about it because he knew. But one thing I want to make clear and that I love about this is the fact that Zoro and Sanji fuck with each other. Like, I'm so sick and tired of people actually thinking their beef is real. Like, their rivalry is real. It's definitely real, and but they're like homies. They're like the friends that like fuck with each other and mess with each other and like talk shit about each other. But like at the end of the day, they got each other's backs. Or like if you mess with him, like it's not gonna slide. Like I got your back, and only I can talk shit about my homie. Like you can't talk. Like these guys are cool with each other, and they've always been looking out for each other, especially like in Sanji's direction. Sanji is always constantly looking out for Zoro, despite all the like shit talking, all the shit they do. They care about each other. Like if you don't believe that by now, I don't know what to tell you. I honestly feel like you're not a true fan of the series if you don't notice that. And so what they're doing right here, this relationship, just both being friends, being the wings of the Pirate King, is amazing. And basically, Sanji tells him, "Hey man, something's up with me. We're gonna definitely beat these assholes. We're definitely gonna let make sure clear the path for Luffy. But if I'm not myself after this, I need you to kill me." And I just love the respect that like. First of all, I love the fact that like Zoro is like,
Well, obviously.
but even after that, um, he's like, "Yeah, I got you." And you would think someone would ask more questions, be like, "No, I can't. I'm not gonna kill you. Like, what's going on?" But Zoro respects Sanji as a man. He respects Sanji as a warrior. He respects Sanji as a crew member. And he knows that if Sanji is saying these things, he means these things. He knows that he wouldn't put the crew in danger. And that if he knows that he's asking him specifically to do this because he is the only person he believes and trusts enough to be able to do this. And so Zoro's like, "Yeah, I got you, fam. I got you. Yeah. I'll do that." So I don't think it'll come to that, but I'm very, very curious to see how all this progresses. And then we end the fight with one of Sanji's most powerful moves. A move that seems to stem from, how it's about him being passionate. This one seems to stem from him being angry and thinking about angry things. And he uses Hell's memories, and we're left off with that. and I'm super hyped for the next chapter. Doesn't appear to be a break. So yeah, guys, what did you think about this chapter? What was your favorite part? What do you think about Fuga recognizing or wanting to talk to Yamato? Do you think that's what Apu was trying to say? Do you think the numbers are going to help her defeat the Kanambo? Um, what else happened? Um, how do you think the fight with Big Mom and Law and Kid is going to go? Because if the my other interpretation of what they said is true, then they don't have enough energy or firepower to fight her right now. So how are they going to get out of this one? And yeah, how strong do you think the CP0 is? Or you think Robin has it in her for another fight? Do you think Sanji hit that bitch? I don't. I definitely don't. But if it wasn't Sanji, what happened? What's going on? And do you think Sanji's going to go full Germa? And I think the fact that he's using Hell's memories in the first place, an ability, a move that is based upon passion and feeling in the first place, is kind of counterintuitive to this idea that he's losing his senses and whatnot. But anyway, leave any comments or thoughts in the comment section, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Anyway, that's been my review of chapter 1031, Soldier of Science. And this has been Otaku Talk with me, your boy, your host, OD. And I hope you guys have a great Friday. Hope you guys enjoy the chapter. And peace. Take care. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.